I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 2 months when I have to go back to work. If I go back to work. Hey y'all, welcome to Becoming Akilah, the journey of a millennial mom, wife, and student of life, creating a life she loves. So for those of you who have been with me before, you know that I started YouTube a while back, and then I became very distant and MIA for about a year or so. In that year, I had a baby, and a lot of things changed and a lot of things happened in my life. And in that time from 2020, the end of 2020, when I stopped making YouTube to now, a lot has happened. So much has happened. So much has changed. I have evolved as a person so much, and my business has grown so much because I did share a lot of business stuff with you guys on here, and you guys were there from the beginning of my journey when I started my business, and so much has happened. So without further ado, I'll get straight into this video. And I'd just like you guys to know that there will be a lot of new, different type of content, because I have been brainstorming and I've been thinking about YouTube long before and making a lot of plans about my video quality and so on, because that's things I really wanted to work on before I came back, so that I don't go back off. I feel satisfied when I start that, yes, I'm making progress and I'm gonna grow and I'm gonna do YouTube. I'm gonna feel confident about my videos and the quality of them and all of these things. So look forward to all that I have to offer you guys. This is gonna be my journey, and I'm taking you guys along with me, and I'm hoping that I can inspire and impact so many people who are on their journey of becoming their best version of themselves as well. Right, so we're into the video. This video is gonna be about my missing year, my pregnant year, and my labor experience. So I posted some posts on Instagram and on my Facebook page for persons to ask questions about my labor and my pregnancy experience. I mean, I used to share a lot on my Instagram and my Facebook about the whole experience, but there's like major parts that I wanted to share, and I feel like at the end of my labor and in my postpartum stage, which I'm in right now, my baby's a month old today, I realized that even though you might think that you're completely ready and you know it all, and TikTok prepared you for this pregnancy and for motherhood, there's so much things that people don't tell us. And luckily, I have a whole community of young moms, my girl mom friends and my boy mom friends, more girl moms than boy moms, team girl mom. I realized that we face a lot, and I'm only so lucky because I have those persons, like I can reach out to them and say, hey, is this happening? Did this happen with you? What did you do in this case? Or whatever the case may be. So I'm thankful that for that community. And I know that our baby parties are going to be full. The children parties are going to be lit, because it's a lot of us and there are more coming. So I asked people to ask me questions, and I actually like the questions because I'm looking forward to answering them. And this is going to be fun to answer. I think I have a few questions, a lot. So we're going to get right into the questions, and the first question is, what did it feel like and how bad was the pain? Labor felt like a relief for me, to be honest. I was over it, and I needed to get that baby out my belly. So I was just happy that when I went into the hospital, I was actually ready and I didn't have to go back home and wait. And I was ready. It was a relief for me. I think everybody's experience is different, and a lot of it for me was about like training up my mind to handle the pain. So the pain wasn't uncontrollable for me. Even postpartum, I didn't feel a lot of pain. I think I was heavily sedated on painkillers for a while, so that's the reason I didn't feel a lot of pain. What song would describe your labor experience? So there's this song I already know, because I already have a song dedicated to it. So that's how I can answer this question off the bat. And for me, the song that describes my labor experience is a song by Akilah. It's called Promises, and I'm probably gonna put a little clip of it in here. So it's like, promise you'll be alright if anything should happen. Promise you'll be alright. So that was just like my song beforehand, and I used to sing it to her a lot while she was in my tummy, because I felt like, in the labor experience, that anything could happen. Like, it could go left. Labor is life and death, and that's something you gotta accept. Like, I could lose my life, or there could be a possibility that she could not be born, or she could lose her life. And there's all these things that you have to consider, and I actually did not, I did think of the bad things, but I just focused myself on the good things. But I also knew that there was a possibility that things could go bad. So I used to sing that song to her all the time. And, even in the hospital, I was singing it and letting her know that throughout this process, if everything that happens, just promise me that you'll be all right, and I promise you that I'll be all right. And that's basically the gist of the song. She's singing to her daughter, and I was singing to mine. So that's the song I would dedicate to my labor experience. Next question. Did you have a natural delivery, or did you opt for epidural? No offense to the epidural moms, but I don't do the epidural thing. I don't even like tablets, like simply tablets. I'm a anti-doctor kind of person, or anti-medication type of person. For those who know, I have an organic business, and I believe in herbal remedies and natural remedies and organic remedies. So no epidural. Next question is, were you mentally prepared for delivery and postpartum? Was it what you expected? So I like that question because I want to speak a bit on that. I was mentally prepared for delivery. I believe I had all the things that could possibly go wrong. As I mentioned before, I had all of that in mind. I was ready to handle the pain. It was all mind over matter for me, and I just really wanted to hold her in my hand. I just wanted that to be over. Go in there, get it over with, and come out with my baby and have both of us safe and sound. So I was mentally prepared for the delivery, yes. Postpartum, however, I was not prepared for that. I had a C-section, and I was expecting postpartum. I feel like I prepared myself so much for the pregnancy, and I did all this research and all this, and I didn't focus enough on postpartum and researching what happens then, or what it's like dealing with postpartum recovery, or what I'll need. I had some things in mind, yeah, but I didn't pay attention to it enough. I definitely was not prepared for postpartum, and I am constantly at this point falling into depression. I'm constantly fighting all the frustration. I'm constantly trying to stay positive and tell myself that you got this. Even though you weren't prepared, your mind is strong. You can handle it. I made this plan previously before I got the baby. that she's gonna sleep in her bassinet because I have to go back out to work. And I was really like, everybody who's telling me, no, you could sleep, put her on the bed to sleep with you and all that, it just upset me because I was like, no, she's sleeping in the bassinet. I can't have her on the bed with me. I can't make her practice that. Having a C-section now, I had to put her on the bed with me because I couldn't get to the bassinet in time. And like, my husband's mom was there for the first week, and she would come over anytime she heard her cry or so. But I didn't want her to come and save me every time, because when she leaves, what will happen to me? That was my thought process. So I was like frustrated by that, and I had to start putting her on the bed with me, and now she's stuck on the bed with me. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 2 months when I have to go back to work, if I go back to work. So I don't know, that I wasn't prepared for postpartum. It was not what I expected. Like, I used to see myself postpartum, like, all right, good, I get this baby in February, because that was my due date, but she came early. Like, I get this baby in February, and yeah, by time next 2 weeks we outside, because I say I already know how to, I already watch all the TikToks. I know how to push without tearing. I know how to do everything. So I thought that we had this thing on clutch. I was not expecting a C-section, and I was not expecting the postpartum experience that I'm having right now. I definitely didn't expect any of this, because now I can't even get back to my business as yet. I can't do things the way I thought I would have been able to do them, and that's so frustrating because I made so much plans and I timelined everything, and now I just basically have to go with how my body is healing, and I can't fight it because it makes no sense. I try to fight it and then I don't heal the way I'm supposed to heal, and I have even longer recovery time. So to answer that question, yeah. How did the nurses treat you? I am pleasantly surprised. I must say, I am pleasantly surprised by my experience in the hospital. I went to Davis Memorial Hospital, and the nurses were great. Like, from the time I went in, the first nurse I met with was Nurse Bess. I'm gonna call all their names because if anybody who knows them sees this, or they themselves sees this, I want them to know that they're doing a good job. And I know that the healthcare system could be hard on nurses, and that's why we have a lot of nurses that are very disgruntled and they treat people badly, and they don't even realize it. Sometimes they make a labor experience for someone very horrible. And like, I even have friends who would message me and say their labor experience was horrible. They didn't even want to hold their baby after because of how the nurses treated them. I can't say the same. I did not experience that. The first nurse I met was Nurse Bess, and Nurse Bess was really gentle with me at the starting. The doctor came, he checked me up. He said that I'm only like 1 cm dilated. I was only like 1 cm dilated, and but my mucus plug was gone, and he said that could cause infections on the baby, and he didn't want to take the chance. So we induced labor to get the labor process started faster. I made a quick change to the style of this turban because I know you saw me fidgeting with it before just now the whole time, and that could be annoying and distracting. So I just changed it because it's stressing me out, right? But I still look cute. I'm cute. Oh my god, look. God, such a work of art. Yeah, as I was saying, where was I? Yeah, so we induced labor, and Nurse Bess was there the whole time. They admitted me, Nice. Then in the night, came in, my girl nurse Beat, I think was her name. Yeah, I think Nurse Beat was her name, like Beeete. Yeah, she was really nice. She came in, and there was this other girl with me, and the other girl, she was 3 cm dilated when I came in, and then her and I started to dilate like at the same we started to dilate at the same time. Like when the nurse checked us, she was 4 cm and I was 4 cm, and the nurse was like, y'all racing, y'all best don't get baby at the same time, because it's me alone at this shift. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that, but yeah, she made it easy during the night because we were in pain, of course, and we were in labor for a few hours. So she made it really easy and comfortable to go through the labor process. Well, the dilation leading up to delivery. Even when I found out that I had to have a C-section, she said something that, you know, gave me a lot of motivation, because it was an emergency C-section, and she saw we had lost the heart rate for a little while, and then when she put me on the bigger machine, she found the heart rate, but it was very, very low. So she said, like, she was like, no, we need to do this C-section. We didn't come 9 months for this baby to die. You have to get this baby, you know. And she kind of motivated me, because I really didn't want a C-section. I was dreading a C-section, and after she said that, it kind of gave me a little bit of push, like, okay, we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna have baby come here safe. And so, you know, the nurses are dedicated, the doctor is dedicated, they're gonna get me my baby. And like, I just sang the song to her and just asked her to hold on for a little bit. We're coming for her, we're gonna get her out, because she was in distress, like her heart rate was going up and down. And the nurses were good, they were great. Nurse Bess, Nurse Beat, I can't remember the names of the other nurses that came on duty, like after I got the baby and so, but they were great experience. I recommend Davis Memorial Hospital to anybody that's given birth. I don't know if anybody had bad experiences, but I know that mine was good, and I heard other people say that, you know, that's one of the hospitals that are really good, and they're affordable. I think it's just because a lot of people don't go there. People don't know that the hospital is actually a great one, and they treat people and they treat you like a human being. We even got gifts from them. They came and they gave the babies gifts, and they said that they gave all their January born babies gifts and all these things. It was really, really nice, really such a nice experience. A bittersweet moment when I went home. So yeah, the nurses were great. I talked a lot about that. What was the hardest part of your pregnancy? I think the hardest part of my pregnancy was the paranoia. Like, you're paranoid. I don't know about everyone, but for me, I was paranoid for a very long time, because when I found out about the pregnancy and I went to get an ultrasound at Balwant Singh, they I don't like talking about this because I get upset. They couldn't find the baby. They couldn't find the whatever you call it, fetus or whatever you call it at that stage. They couldn't find it. So I'm lying on the bed. They did the outside ultrasound, and then they did the transvaginal ultrasound. That's the one inside. And they didn't find anything. And they saw, I don't know what they saw, but I remember the girl who was the doctor's assistant, she could have spoken English. So she said to me, the doctor didn't know much English. She just told me, okay, no baby, baby no good. And I was like, what? We're being. Anyways, the girl explained to me that I have something called ectopic pregnancy, and that's where the baby does not form inside the womb. It's formed in the fallopian tube, and it can rupture and it can kill you and stuff like that. So they sent me straight over to their gynecology department, and the nurse there, she was a total bitch. And she was like, I asked her, I said, so I'm in shock because I just come out of the ultrasound room, gone over here, and I was happy. I just went to get a checkup to see how far I am, how far along I am, and so on. I was happy. So that instant shock for me was like, what is going on? So I was trying to find out from the nurse, like, okay, is the doctor sure about this? What is the other remedies? Because she's telling me I gotta do an emergency surgery to get it out. They gotta take out the tube and take out the baby, and I can't leave. I can't go back to work. I can't go home. I have to do the surgery because if they let me leave and it ruptures, it can kill me. And I'm like, what the hell going on? So I asked her, I'm like, is the doctor sure? Is there any other way that you can get it out or anything? Like, she's like, no, the doctor suspects that. But the doctor ain't gonna be suspecting with my child. What the hell? Are you out of your cotton picking mind? Well, you didn't pick cotton, but are you out of your mind? You ain't gonna be suspecting with my child. Anywho, I was like, okay. I was in shock. So that was terrible. And I called my sister. Oh, I tell the nurse, I said I have to talk to my husband about it. I have to call him, and she's like, but you can't leave, whatever. And I'm like, okay, but I can't just go and do a surgery. She's like, if you can't afford it, you can get a transfer to Georgetown Hospital. I said, yes, give me my documents. Let me go to Georgetown Hospital, because I was about to snatch sis. Like, bro, this how you deal with people. This how you give them kind of news to people. Anyway, I called my sister. My sister was like, girl, let me tell you something. Pick your shit up, walk out of there, and never go back. And I did that. Went and got a second opinion. Went and got a third opinion. And the doctors told me to just relax, go home, come back in this time. When I went back, I think I went back in 2 weeks, my baby was 8 weeks with a heartbeat, healthy, and everything. So I don't know what balancing saw or what they were gonna do when they opened me and they didn't find that my baby was not in the fallopian tube. They didn't find the baby in the fallopian tube. I don't know what they would do. God forbid that they did do that. They would have took that baby out of me and just made me feel like they did the right thing. I don't know. I don't know what they would have done, but God be with balancing. Just whatever. So for the rest of my pregnancy, oh, and I know I was talking a long time about that, so I didn't want to sidetrack you guys. I'm answering the question of what was the hardest part of my pregnancy. So because of that, for the rest of my pregnancy, I was very paranoid. For the first trimester, I didn't enjoy it. I was just sick, and I was not telling anyone about it, and I was not getting excited as yet, because I felt like there was a possibility that the baby wouldn't have made it where she is right now. So I just I'm not excited, because I didn't want to get excited and then have to deal with the pain of losing a child. Blam, blam, blam. Moving on. My baby's here. The paranoia is gone. Well, not gone, because now I have to deal with the paranoia of her being here, blah, blah, blah. But it's working. We're working. We're fine. She's here. Alhamdulillah. Memorable. What was the most memorable part of your delivery? I think I remember the most memorable part was just before I went into the C-section, because I left. My husband had just came back because he was there all day, and then he went home and bathed and got some stuff and came back. And he brought some stuff for me, and that was the same point where I started feeling this like stiff pain in my belly. And I telling the nurse that I don't feel like this is a contraction, something wrong. And she checked for the heart rate and stuff. We didn't find it. And then we went to the back. So I had left him in the room, and then we were supposed to come back. But when we went into the room, that's when everything went left. And I had to go, like, do the C-section thing. And so the nurse went outside for his, like, approval, his signature. So he's like, I just went in there, and then I come out back. Then she come out back and tell him, C-section. He was like, what? Anyways, he was in shock. And I could, like, when he came in the room, I could still see on his face that he was traumatized, right? He came in, he took all my stuff. And, like, him seeing me in that state after just seeing me being fine, I could see it on his face that he was so worried. Like, tears built up in his eyes. And I was in pain, like bad pain. Before he came, I was groaning. But when I saw him come in the room, I don't know where I got that strength from. But I just made myself, like, not seem in so much pain. And I was like, you don't bother stress out for me. I'm okay. Like, I just, like, tell him, like, relax, I gonna be all right. And he took the stuff and so on, and he just watching there in shock. And he came and he gave me a kiss, and then he kissed the belly, and he said, like, I can see you when you come out. And because he couldn't go in. And that was, like, the most memorable part to me, because I was so scared, but I gave him my strength. Like, I didn't want him to see that I was scared. I didn't want him to see how much pain I really was in, because I was sitting there thinking that there's a possibility I'm not coming out. Like, I could not wake up from that anesthesia, or I could, like, something could go wrong, and it could be a situation where just the baby comes out or just me come out, So I was so scared at that point. But when he came in, I found that strength, and I gave him that strength, and, like, that gave me a little bit more strength also. Did you experience any flu during your early trimester? Yeah, I did. I actually got really sick when I went to Berbice in the first trimester, and I think a lot of it had to do with me stressing out and so on too. So I was very, very sick. I had, like, a flu. I was vomiting, and, like, I don't know if that was pregnancy or a flu, but I had, like, a cold with it and fever and stuff like that. So yeah, I did have a flu, if you want to call it that. Is lovemaking safe during pregnancy? Yeah. It's safe. It's safe. Definitely safe. Safe. I didn't get a lot of it. I mean, I didn't get a lot of lovemaking, because it was like, but yeah, it is safe. I know a lot of people who I talked to, and they were like, yeah, normal. Hours before delivery, they made love. So definitely safe. What have been your top learnings from labor and delivery? Expect the unexpected, and you are more than, or you are stronger than you think you actually are. You know how your parents used to say, like, when you get your own, you're gonna know. When you get your own, you're gonna know. Like, I felt the minute I held that child in my hand, it was like I was a newborn person. And it's like, you get a different type of strength and a different type of motivation when there's somebody depending on you, or somebody that their life is in your hands, literally. You get a different type of strength and a different type of drive. It changes you. Like, it really does change you. Just expect the unexpected. It's mind over matter. You are stronger than you think you are. What was the best and worst thing about your pregnancy? Okay, so I said the worst thing about my pregnancy was the paranoia. The best thing was that I was spoiled. I was a spoiled pregnant girl. My boss, well, my immediate boss, that is, he spoiled me. And there were a lot of my coworkers who were jealous. And they didn't like the fact that I was spoiled, and people actually care about pregnant people and care about how they feel and how you know, like, it's just terrible that there's people like that at my workplace. But there are people like that at my workplace who are freaks and they're uncomfortable with their own lives, so they try to make people who are comfortable with their own uncomfortable. But let's not speak on that, because they might be watching and they might have a lot to say. And you know how you girls like to tussle. It's not girls only, by the way. It's men that act like girls too. So yeah, moving on. That was the best part. I was spoiled. My husband spoiled me. He used to make a lot of, like, everything I asked for, I used to get it. If I crave something, I'm gonna get it. I was spoiled, but now that's over, so I don't want to talk about it because I'm gonna cry. No more spoiling for me. Did you feel as if you were really ready when she was actually here? No, I didn't. I saw this question and I was like, actually, there's a good question, because no matter all the preparation you do, and a huge part of me not feeling ready was because, like, I was nesting, like, really, really bad. Like, I was cleaning and preparing everything and trying to be, like, organized. And then I had a big shipment of things that were supposed to come for her. And that shipment burned to the ground in Leparkin's fire days before I had my baby. And I was already feeling like she was coming. Like, I was already feeling I'm gonna have this baby soon. And then my stuff burned. I feel like, I think it was 3 days after that I had the baby, or 2 days after that I had the baby. And I feel like that stress that I was feeling, that brought her down. So that contributed a lot to me not feeling ready, because when she came, I had to, like, go and buy stuff that I already had purchased and that people had gifted me. I had to go and rebuy those things now. I'll get back my money for the value of the stuff, and I'll get to buy back the stuff, but it's not the same, because it's like gifts and it's sentimental things that people bought for her and us. And you know, to lose them like that, even though I'm gonna get to buy them back, it was just hard to process. And I felt like I failed her, because when she was born, she didn't have all the stuff that she needed, and I had made preparations for her to have them, but unfortunately she didn't. I had to go and get, like, stuff last minute, and it was just not the same. I was not ready for her to come. And after she came, in terms of, like, knowing what to do here and knowing what to do there, and in this situation, you feel like you're prepared for that. You always feel like you know it all, because you watch all these TikToks and you watch all these videos and all these things. You're never prepared. You learn as you go. Give yourself grace. Don't pressure yourself. You're new, and as long as you have a support system, you're going to be fine. And if you don't have a big support system, create one among the people that you have around you. And quite frankly, your support system don't have to be people you know. There's a whole community online for moms and first-time moms and all this. So you can have a support system outside of just family and friends that you know, right? It's all about perspective and how you view it. How many hours of labor were you when they did the C-section? I was in labor for 9 hours when they did the C-section. I went in at 3 and I got her at 12:30. So that was like approximately 9-10 hours I was in labor for. Did you request a C-section or they decided to give it to you? It was an emergency C-section, as I said. She had a really low heart rate and it was fluctuating high and then going down, and she was in distress. At the end of it, we realized that the umbilical cord was choking her, was strangling her, and she was in distress. She got really stiff in my belly. She stopped moving, and we needed to get her out safely, and I was only 5 cm dilated. The doctors and the nurses tried to check, like they were trying to assess whether they could wait a little bit so that I could be able to push her instead of getting a C-section. Like, they didn't just rush me. I didn't feel like my C-section was unwarranted, even though a lot of C-sections these days are just unwarranted. Like, they're unnecessary. People just cutting young women for no reason. I didn't feel that way with mine. I felt like mine was warranted. I understood the situation. I could have followed what was going on, and everything was explained to me. At 5 cm dilated, I could not push the baby, and they could not take the chance with how her heart rate was going to wait. I had to get the C-section. So at that point, I really didn't want a C-section, but at that point, it was like, are you gonna hold off just because you have to consider the safety of the baby? And she's not gonna tell you like, okay, mommy, I'm holding on for the next 2 hours, do your thing. She's in distress, and we don't know at what point we could lose her. So we had to do the C-section. That was no question about it. From the time I saw what was going on, it was like, yeah, get her out any means necessary. So, yep. Next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was the pain? A 6. I think a 6 for me. I didn't feel so much pain. Like, I felt pain, yeah, and I felt pain after the C-section too, but not so much. For me, after the C-section and the postpartum pain, it wasn't really like pain on the cut itself. It was like, for me, it was like paranoia. It was me thinking, I have to move slow or I have to move this way, because if I move too fast, I'm actually feeling the raw cut. Yeah, I'm feeling it. It's not terrible pain, but because I'm feeling it, I feel like any slight movement, I'm gonna rip this thing, or I'm gonna make this thing open, or I'm gonna do something to this thing. So it was more so that than the pain. And for the contractions, girl, I was handling them contractions like a G. That's why Johnny was so traumatized. My husband was traumatized because he's like, you handling these contractions? I was in Giftland Mall an hour before I went into the hospital. I went and bought my stuff, bought stuff to clean up the hospital bed. I bought some more stuff that she needed, hats, mittens, and things. I bought some bottles because all those things got burned up. I buy all them things, and there was even this lady see me in Giftland Mall. The lady said, you're gonna get that baby anytime soon. You look very ready. I was like, I'm ready. And I just walk in and breathe in, I saying, because I want some more time to dilate before I rush into the hospital. Then when I got the pain, oh my God, my iPod cut off with all the questions. Wow. My iPod cut off, so that's the end of the video, I guess. But all in all, in terms of like pregnancy and labor, I feel like there's a lot we need to talk about. There's a lot that isn't said. There's a lot that we don't know, especially as first-time moms. I don't think you should be left alone to figure it all out. Luckily, I had a whole community online, and like my support system is big. I had my in-laws, and I had my mom, my sisters. So even my friends, everybody were very, very supportive, and everybody was excited, just as excited as me to have Samaya in the world, enter the world. And like, my support system was great, but there's people who don't have that. And I feel like There's people who don't even know to access certain types of information on their own, and so they need people who would be giving them these types of information or speaking openly on it, so that they know that this is what happens, or this is what happens, and this is what you should expect. And it will save a lot of women. I feel like community can save a lot of women from postpartum depression, because that's something that you're dealing with so many women now, like so many young mothers even going through postpartum depression. And I feel like it's because of a lack of community and a lack of preparation. They left to battle this pregnancy on their own. Like, even in terms of where your relationship goes after the pregnancy, and how to deal with relationship during the pregnancy, and communication with your spouse, and all these things. Those are things that you were left to figure out. I was left to figure out some of it on my own, but I did have a bigger support system, and I was not like the type of person who would experience something and not go out and seek knowledge on it. I put myself out there, and I made my own community, or I was welcomed into the community, and I didn't feel so alone. And so going through a lot of things was easier for me, because I was kind of given a lot of support and advice, or I was already prepared for it. Young mothers watching this, or people who are not a mothers yet and you're watching this, even guys that are watching this, seek out knowledge on these things and speak openly with your partner, speak openly with people about pregnancy and labor and postpartum. It is normal. We all face these things. I can assure you that you're thinking that, oh, like my baby has gas, really bad gas, and I'm thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm a bad mom because I'm probably feeding her wrong, or I'm not eating on time, she's getting gas from my breast. When you speak to other moms, you realize that we all are facing these things. 9 out of 10 times it's something that you're going through. Everybody is facing it, or there's someone who faced that or went through that. So be open. Stop keeping everything inside. Stop leading or forcing ourselves into depression. We don't have to be depressed. I know some cases are very uncontrollable, and some people's circumstances are very saddening, sad to say, and we can't avoid what happens. But I feel like a lot of the cases and a lot of frustrated, depressed moms could not be frustrated and depressed if they had that support and that community. So my phone storage is full, and my iPad died with the rest of questions. Obviously, I was not prepared for this video, but I said I will post it on Friday. And in the name of consistency, I'm posting it. Thank you for watching my video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. See you next time.